All right, I'm in Blackboard and I'm testing this matching question, and I'm having a little bit of trouble navigating inside of Firefox. So I'm going to show you how that worked and why it makes the matching question a real source of trouble for someone who's using a screen reader. I have JAWS running and I'm going to try to keep it down to a minimum while we're working with it. First of all, JAWS has some commands to get it to read these headings, and question 3 is a heading level 3, I believe. So if I hit insert F5, I should get the controls, which would be the combo boxes for the answers, and if I hit insert F6, I should get the headings that are on the page.
F6.
And right now I get nothing. So to make sure that I'm at the page is
Alt
marked
tab. Task
effectively,
switching.
I'm going to look here and
Preview
I can
test colon
see,
for lockdown test dash dash film long dash Mozilla Firefox.
and you heard it read preview test for lockdown. So that shows me that I'm on the page, but again,
Select a form field dialog.
there's
List
the
1
form
list view.
fields, and
Escape. Preview test colon for lockdown test dash dash film long.
this time we actually got the heading list. So if I press Q,
Q.
it's going to take me
Question 3 colon
directly
3. Enter.
it's going to take me directly to question 3, which is where I want to start to look at this question. I set this set of questions up and the ones in Chrome. Well, when I'm using Chrome next, you'll see that I'm able to control where I'm going by these commands in JAWS. And I can also press the Tab key. So if I press the Tab key,
Tab. For each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. Column 1 row 1. 1066 combo box. J. To change the selection, use the arrow keys.
so it tells me I can use my arrow keys.
I. H. G. F. E.
And that's good. The other part to this is that these combo boxes and their answers on the right over here, this set right here, are in tables. So I'm supposed to be able to press
Tab.
the
1100 S tab, 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 shift tab, shift tab, out of table.
I'm
Last question button.
I'm supposed to press T.
Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Combo boxy.
And then as you see, I'm in this table here with the E for 1066. And then if I press down arrow, it should say 1000.
1066.
And then it should say hyphen or dash.
Combo box dash.
And then 1100s.
1100s.
Okay, so if I continue pressing the down arrow, it's going to go through those, and then it's going to tell me whether it's a dash or a letter. But if I press T again, it's going to take me over to the answer section.
Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. A. Newton's theory of universal gravitation.
Now, my experience with Firefox is sometimes Firefox loses this ability for me to look at both the headings and the combo boxes and the tables. It kind of melts down on me. So this is not necessarily the easiest solution for someone trying to take a quiz. Right now it's working pretty well, so I went over here to Newton's theory of universal gravitation, which is A. Now if I press T again.
Wrapping to top. Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Combo boxy.
Alright, Newton would have lived, I would think his date here would probably be something like somewhere around 1664. So I'm going to press down arrow until I hear
1066. Combo box dash. 1100s. Combo 1 combo 1764.
So I've gone too far.
Combo box dash 1664. Combo box dash.
So now I'm at the place where I can actually change that answer. And what I'm going to do is press Alt down arrow.
Open list box. Preview tab. Open list box.
And see, it's supposed to stay with it
A.
in when I press Alt down arrow, but it didn't. It just kind of popped back and forth. But I'm still able to get the answer, which was for Newton, that would be A. And so in 1764, I believe that's the date for Mozart when he writes his first symphony. So I'm going to press Tab key.
Tab.
And then down arrow.
1700. A. B. C. E. F.
Next is to
Shift tab.
come
Shift
out
tab.
of them.
Shift tab. Out of table.
Once it says
Last
out of
question
table,
button.
once it says out of table, then I press T.
Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Combo box E.
And then I'm going to press T again.
Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. A.
And then I'm going to press down arrow. It's going to read Newton's theory of universal gravitation.
Newton's theory of universal gravitation.
So you can see this is really tricky for someone who's trying to do this blind using a screen reader. And the test that I ran before this particular recording, I wasn't able to read question 3. I wasn't able to get into the table. I didn't have those selections. So what I ended up having to do was refresh the entire Blackboard application and start over again. Now we're going to move on to the same experience using Chrome. So in Firefox, I was able to figure it out. In Chrome, it kind of works, but you'll see where I ran into difficulties. All right, now we are in Chrome, and we're going to do the same test. What I found interesting is that though Firefox was spotty, it at least gave me the answers. I could get back to the answers when I knew that I could use the table command in JAWS to find the different, whether I'm putting the answer in or whether I'm reading the content of the answer. What I had in Chrome here is that you'll see, first of all, I need to make sure I'm on this.
Alt D.
And I am not on this, so
Alt Tab.
now we
Task
are.
switching.
Okay, so I'm going to tab.
Tab. Tab. Shift tab. Shift tab. Expand question.
I'm here at this link question completion status. What I want to do is I want to see the headings, which is insert F6.
Heading list dialog.
And then I'm going to press Q.
Enter.
And
heading level 3 question 3.
So I'm now at this location right here. And so if I press down arrow.
For each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. Combo box dash.
So I'm at the combo boxes on the left side.
1066 combo box dash. 1100 S combo box dash. 1215 combo box dash.
So it's actually reading the area where you put the answer in and what date well. And so if I press T.
There are no tables on this page.
Chrome does not recognize that there's any tables. So I'm going to have a hard time getting over there, which is reading me the A, B, C. So let's see what happens when I get into the combo boxes. So I'm going to look at the controls.
Select a form field.
And here's the first one.
For each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. 1066A. Newton's theory of universal gravitation. B. Gandhi's civil disobedience movement leads to an independent India. C. Japan and 675-year Shogun rule. D. Gutenberg's movable combo box dash.
Now it doesn't read all the answers. It does give me some of the answers, but that isn't going to work well with a test. So I'm going to get out of there. I'm now going to navigate directly to the combo box by pressing Tab key.
Tab. Shift tab. Shift tab. Dash.
Okay, so I now am at this dash, and because I have sight, I can see I'm at 1066. If I press tab again
tab,
and go through
tab,
the rest of the combo
tab,
boxes,
tab, tab,
let's see what
tab,
happens.
dash, tab. Save answer button. Save answer for question
So
3.
Chrome went from here to over here and skipped this content right here. Let's go back to the listing on
Heading list
question
dialog.
3.
Q. Enter. Heading level 3 question 3.
If I press insert down arrow, it's going to read me this page.
Heading level 3 question 3 for each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. 1066A. Newton's theory of universal gravitation. B. Gandhi's civil disobedience movement leads to an independent India. C.
Okay, so what I found is that what it read here was it read 1066A. What it should read is just combo box 1066, and then it should say A, Newton's theory of universal gravitation. But what it sounds like is it sounds like 1066 is A, and Newton's theory of universal gravitation is B. So let's listen to it again.
Heading list dialog. Q. Enter. Heading level 3 question 3 for each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. 1066A. Newton's theory of universal gravitation. B. Gandhi's civil disobedience movement leads to an independent India. C. Japan and 675-year Shogun rule. D.
So though I can get information from the content of the answers, it's difficult for me to determine what letter actually goes with this. Either way you go, working with Firefox or working with Chrome, this is a problem. So my next test is going to be looking at Internet Explorer 11. We're going to look at the same test in there. All right, we're now using Internet Explorer version 11 to see how the Blackboard matching question is going to work. Again, I have to make sure I'm on the right page.
Alt D.
And
Alt Tab. Preview test colon for lockdown test dash dash film long dash Internet Explorer.
That looks good. So I should be able to get the listing of the headings.
Heading list dialog.
And I press Q.
Enter.
And I'm now
heading
at
level 3 question 3.
Question. So I'm going to try to listen. I'm going to try to listen to it.
Heading level 3 question 3 for each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. 1066A. Newton's theory of universal gravitation. B. Gandhi's civil disobedience movement leads to an independent India. C. Japan and 675-year Shogun rule. D. Gutenberg's movable dash type rows.
And the same thing that happened with Chrome is that when I'm listening to the content, it put 1066 and it read A. So it made me think that 1066 is A. And then it went to Newton's theory of universal gravitation and said B. So the pausing between the letter that the content is actually and the answer content is confusing to anyone using a screen reader. So let's see if we can use the table commands here again and see if we can use this.
Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. A. Wrapping to top. Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Combo box collapsed dash.
Well, that's nice. It told me it's a combo box and it's a dash. We're currently right here. If I press down arrow, it's going to say 1066.
1066.
And then it's going to say dash.
Combo box collapsed dash.
So it's reading this combo box. And then
1100s.
So that probably should say 1100s or 1100s. Now, if I press T again, it's going to take me to the table.
Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. A.
Okay, so it reads the A and then
Newton's theory of universal gravitation.
So now I know that the A is Newton's theory of universal gravitation. And I believe that would be something around, say, 1664. So if I want to press T again,
wrapping to top. Table with 2 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Combo box collapsed dash. 1066.
So I pressed down arrow and got 1066. So I want to do that until I get to 1664.
Combo box collapsed dash. 1000 combo box 1200 combo box 1300 combo box 1400 and combo box 1005 combo box 1664.
A person who's using the screen reader is going to have to know, of course, that the combo box is before it. So I'm going to press back arrow
Space.
or up arrow. I'm sorry.
1517.
Okay, so I want to press tab key.
Tab. For each of the following dates, match the event or person associated with it. 1664A.
Now normally I would press alt down arrow.
Open list box.
And it opens
Expanded.
the list box.
A, B, D, E.
In this case, since
D,
the
B,
answer is A, I'm just going to press the enter key.
Enter.
And it's going to put the answer in. So someone using Internet Explorer or Firefox may have a better chance of entering the question answers for a matching. But I had significant trouble trying to figure that out using Chrome, because without using my site, of course. And that was because it read 1066A, then it read Newton's theory of universal gravitation B, then it read Gandhi's civil disobedience movement leads to an independent India C. The way the content is being read doesn't differentiate for the Chrome user which answers are going to be correct. You can put the answers in. I'm not saying that any of these won't work. I'm just saying that this is a bit of trouble for someone using a screen reader, especially in Chrome. And as I said before, my experience with Firefox was on and off. Sometimes I was able to get into the table, and sometimes I wasn't able to even list the headings. And so I found that Internet Explorer here seemed to be the best of the three browsers in which to do Blackboard Learn matching questions.